Supplier diversity professionals sharing their ideas, experience, and lessons learned in an ongoing conversation. Never a better time for diversification conversation.
Corporate support means to me that our senior leadership understands how supplier diversity fits into the overall mission and vision of the Federal Reserve.
Once we got my boss, who was our CFO, to kind of buy into let's invest time and let's invest money into doing this, that started the ball rolling.
Diversity is a part of our culture, and it flows from the top down, bottoms up.
Well, we start from the top down, so we make sure that our C-suite understands the value of supplier diversity and inclusion, and that we have them as our advocates.
For supplier diversity, is important to generate support at all levels, but I think the easiest place to get support is at the executive level.
With diplomacy, so often I think in these roles we go pushing our agenda, and I go seeking to understand as much as I do trying to influence.
Of course, I have to prepare the information that you would need to prepare for the executive leadership team. I had to help them see that supplier diversity was something that could absolutely change their bottom line. And that was because even though Navistar is a B2B company, supplier diversity was very important and critical to our customers.
We try to get people to understand through education and awareness that supplier diversity aligns with our mission to foster a strong economy and maximize employment. You know, there was an economic impact study done that said that there are about 3.3 million minority businesses in the United States. They create over 2 million jobs, generate $400 billion in revenues, and add about $49 billion to our tax base. So, you know, supplier diversity is not a quota system or a social program, but it makes good sense. It's a business imperative.
I wasn't having a lot of luck. You know, people were like, oh yeah, we've heard this before. You know, we've gotten emails before. So they weren't really returning my phone calls or responding to my emails. But fortunately, like I said, sometimes your biggest champions could be at the top leadership level. So I asked the CEO if I could have an invitation to the executive leadership team meeting along with one of our customers, which at that time was Ford Motor Company. And we got on the agenda and we talked to the leadership team, and then I introduced my colleague from Ford, and he really only said two things. Ford has supplier diversity requirements in your contract. You need to honor those supplier diversity requirements, and if you don't, then Ford needs to look for another customer. That was all he said. And from that point on, I was successful in getting people to return my calls, return my emails, set up my training program, even got my CEO to send out the invitation to the off-site training, which made it much easier for the directors to be able to say, okay, this is something we're serious, we have to do this.
The best way that I have found is to try to be consistent in your message and try to reach out not to just the higher levels, but to also connect to some of the folks that are directly involved with the work. Because a lot of times they actually are the ones who know what the needs are. And so when you can get their buy-in, they're able to take that up to their leadership as well.
The biggest challenge with support is at the middle level, middle management. The people who are challenged to do all the day-to-day work, cost savings, reducing the supply base, finding more innovative ways to fix problems.
We have been having targeted communications with the divisions and departments, letting them know that your supplier diversity team is here to support you.
We have what we call an open house, where we invite anyone from across the bank that's in a buying position or decision-making position to come in, and we explain what we do, you know, what procurement's all about, what supplier diversity is all about.
We also post things in the building. We hand out flyers when people are coming in the morning. So we use different ways, some traditional and some non-traditional.
Call different meetings and lunch and learns and different types of events throughout the bank to educate them on procurement and supplier diversity.
So we bring our buyers to the one-on-ones, the matchmakers, and they get that kind of exposure themselves. And the feedback has just been phenomenal. They always come back and say, hey, I met somebody, I met this MBE, and I just really love them, and this is great. When we were at NMSDC, they worked the booth at CBOF. So again, giving our buyers that exposure to the MBEs has been really critical in ensuring that they are actually meeting MBEs and understanding what they do and the value that they bring. Through emails, newsletters, we have what they call United Daily News, so we'll publish stories there. We will publish to the procurement organization, just the things that are going on, the things that are happening, the trends.
In our organization, what we call Blue News, and every Monday, it's like a periodical that comes out for employees, and we place articles in that Blue News so that people will know, okay, here's what's happening, here's what's going on.
We also present reports, commodity reports, so if you're in IT, you know exactly what you're doing. You know who your top MBEs are. If you're in airport operations, you know who your diverse partners are. So every commodity, if you're in real estate, if you're in legal, you always know who your diverse partners are, and then who we give them, you know, new partners that we'd like for them to meet and start integrating into the supply chain. Actually, I do trainings probably every quarter.
We have been putting our information out there. We have actually been having employee training sessions. We started out the beginning of the year with doing some employee informational trainings so that they understand our supplier diversity program and understand what supplier diversity is, because believe it or not, there are a lot of people that don't know what supplier diversity is and what it does.
I know it's difficult to do and it's hard to get management to agree, but I think it's really critical if you can get them to agree to allow you to take your training off-site, and initially don't do it online. I think initially it takes hands-on, face-to-face, personal touch training. We took people off-site, we did it in a series. Perhaps we might do one group of procurement people for 4 hours, starting with breakfast, and then we do a 4-hour session with them, and then we take the next group in, do lunch, and do a 4-hour series with them. Getting people away from the desk and away from the day-to-day things that they have to deal with was critical for getting them to focus on what we were trying to teach in supplier diversity.
For more data to tailor your pitch, feel free to download the Chicago MSDC White Paper, A Strong Supplier Diversity Program Increases Corporate Revenues, or subscribe to the new Chicago MSDC online tool for measuring the economic impact on communities by supplier diversity initiatives.
The other thing that needs to happen is supplier diversity people need to have an opportunity to share with each other, a time where they can network and share best practices, where they don't have to worry about anyone criticizing them. They don't have to worry about being interrupted by suppliers, because of course the suppliers are there because we're their champions. But there are some times when the champions themselves need education and training and networking and an opportunity to speak with their peers and to get the chance to meet and see who else is doing what they do, and make sure that they're not alone in doing this job. So those are just my thoughts about it.